When it comes to handheld PC gaming like the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus, I would say anything less than 2 terabytes of storage is a little less than ideal. So today we're going to be upgrading the SSD inside this MSI Claw. So let's do it together. Let's go. Alright, so we're going to be replacing the stock SSD inside this MSI Claw with the Western Digital Black SN770M. So let's do it. We're going to start with the media creation tool. This is going to be a fresh install of Windows 11. We're not going to clone the current drive. We're going to just start fresh. So first I'm going to plug in my flash drive, and I'm going to format it to NTFS. So let's do that. Just a quick format should do. And then let's go to the Microsoft website and download the media creation tool. We're going to scroll down and we're going to download the Windows 11 disk image from here. Alright, so let's wait for the download to complete and then we'll continue. Alright, so the download just completed, and next we're going to download an application called Rufus. And we're going to use Rufus to create a bootable disk. So from here we're going to select the device, which is the flash drive on drive letter D. And then we're going to select the ISO image we just downloaded. And after selecting the ISO file, you're going to just leave everything else as is. And then we're going to click start. Okay, and we're going to just press OK. It's going to give you a warning that the data inside the flash drive is going to be erased, but that's okay. And then we're going to wait for a bit until the bootable drive is created. Alright, so now we are finished. That must have been like 15 minutes or so. We got ourselves a bootable drive. You're going to see the setup file inside the drive like that. Now, before we shut this thing down, I want to first check the current speed of the stock SSD with CrystalDiskMark. So let's run that. Alright, so that's finished. So we're gonna keep these numbers in mind and we're gonna compare it to the new disk after we got everything installed. So I'm halfway through the installation and I just realized that the Windows will not install the wireless adapter driver by default. So even before the installation begins, you want to download the driver from the MSI website. You're gonna want to search for the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus driver. You're gonna want to come here to the wireless LAN section. You're gonna want to download this file and put it on your flash drive, and don't forget to unzip the file as well. And we're gonna get to the upgrading part. Let's go. Okay, so now that the device is off, we're gonna start removing the screws. Okay, just try to remember where the screws were. You're gonna wanna put them into their previous places. Even though I'm sure they are the same size, but that's generally the best practice. Okay, so some of the screws are harder to remove, so I had to press it against my lap. Okay, so now we have 2 more screws to go. Alright, so you're gonna see that there's a sticker right here that you gotta remove before you can remove the last screw on the back. Alright, so the sticker will be a bit messy, but I think that's the point because they want to know if you tamper with the back plate of the product. But I was able to remove it quite cleanly. So now we're gonna remove the last screw at the bottom. And I think that's all of it. And now we're going to start prying it. It is easier to start with this part of the device, and then you work it all the way down. And once you got it all the way down, it's going to be easier to remove it. Alright, so let's take a look at what's inside. Usually the best practice is to remove the cable to the battery first, so let's do that. And then we're gonna undo the screw. The cable is kinda in the way of the screw, so you gotta use your finger and push it a bit. Now the screw is removed. And now you're gonna wanna gently push it out of the slot. Alright, so I figured out that it helped if you use this index finger to lift the previous SSD up while you push it with another finger. It's gonna just come right out. Okay. But you gotta make sure that it doesn't crash with the battery cable. You're gonna wanna gently remove it out. And now you got the stock SSD removed. So let's replace that with our new SSD. So inserting it back, it's much easier than taking it out. So let's put in the screw. Make sure that the SSD is inserted all the way. You're gonna want to lift that cable up. Make sure it doesn't get in the way when you screw this thing down. Alright. And let's put the back plate back on. You just want to make sure that everything snaps in place before you start screwing all the screws back in. Now we got all the screws back into their places. I'm gonna plug in the bootable drive. So at this point, we're gonna start a long process of Windows installation, so you might want to plug in your charger before we start. Alright, so that took a while. And then it's gonna greet you with the Windows 11 setup. And it will seem that the touchscreen will not work at this point, so you want to plug in your keyboard and mouse. This is going to be all the usual stuff. You want to just follow the instructions you see on the screen. Alright, so this is going to take a couple of hours, so after all the Windows installation is completed, we're going to continue from there. Alright, so from here you want to click Install Driver and select the wireless adapter folder. I think it should be here. So now you will be able to connect to the internet to continue with the installation. So at some point, you will be given an option to restore from your previous device. But since we want to set this device up as a new device, you're going to want to click More option. And you're going to want to click Setup as a new PC right here. Alright, so once you boot up to your Windows, you will notice that even the audio device is not yet installed, so you want to make sure that there is no pending installation inside the Windows update here. So we're going to complete all the updates right here, and then we're going to continue. Alright, so at this point we are good with the Windows update. Let's change to dark mode. This is to make sure that we conserve the most power. And let's do something about that wallpaper. Much better. Alright, so we're going to download the Intel Arc and Iris Xe graphics Windows. As per the time we are recording the video, the 10th of February is the latest version. So let's download that. We're going to follow the instructions on the screen and we're going to complete the installation and then we'll continue. Alright, so the Intel driver installation is now completed. So I think this is the longest GPU driver installation I've ever had. Normally when I install AMD or NVIDIA graphics, it usually finishes in 3-5 minutes, but for this one it took about 10-15 minutes. So after the reboot, you will see that there is an Intel driver and support assistant right here in the system tray. So you want to double click that and you want to download all. It looks like there's a newer version of the Intel driver and support assistant. So you want to update that as well. Okay, so this step is very important. That's why I'm doing it with this screen recorder. You're gonna find this link within the description area. You want to click on the link that I've provided. So within this link, there are plenty of drivers for you to download. You want to make sure to select driver, and you want to make sure to download each and every driver you see here. Alright, because Windows cannot find all the drivers for this device. You want to install each and every driver you see here. Alright. And lastly, you want to select utility, and from here you want to download the MSI Center M. And that should be everything you need to download from the MSI support website. And after that, just make sure that everything inside the Microsoft Store are all updated as well. Alright, so now that everything inside the Microsoft Store is updated, let's check out the MSI Center M. Alright, and we're gonna need to restart. And we should almost be there, guys. Alright, so after the restart, you will be greeted with this privacy policy. You want to just accept everything. Set it as a default startup screen. And let's check the quick settings. And the quick settings is now working. Cool. And you want to check out the update within the Center M. And this should be the last stage, guys. Alright, so let's update everything you see here. So I got everything inside the MSI Center M updated. And so last but not least, I'm gonna download the CrystalDiskMark to check out the speed of this new SSD. So let's start the test. Alright, so the results are in, guys. And I'd say that's quite an improvement over the stock SSD. It's been a very lengthy process. So congrats on your upgrade, guys. And I'll see you geeks in the next one. Peace out.